Christopher Bird was a research scientist who set out to prove that dowsing was only coincidental. And he quickly discovered that it was real. And so he immediately set out. He covered the whole world. He has an entire chapter on the Marines over in Vietnam, or wherever it was, where one of my friends was a Marine, actually taught them how to douse. You couldn't find a metal coat hanger within miles. Because they could find these booby traps that had no metal in them. And they could find the tunnels, and they could find the ammunition stuff using their dowsing. And it worked so good. They even named the people who were involved. And, of course, now they deny it. No way. It's interesting, you know, how that works in politics. But anyway, my job was to find out now how it works. Well, it turns out there's a tremendous amount of research that's been done worldwide on what's going on. And of course, I got into my own research. But one of the things that happened is first, let's look at what we're receiving. We're getting data from somewhere, somehow. Map dowsing, for example. To give you an idea of the possible accuracy, there was a university back east in the U.S. that had an archaeological group that had a huge ancient Indian sacred grounds and graveyard. And they got permission from the Indian Council and from the ecologists and from the government and so on to dig up one spot. Here we got 40 acres of brush and trees. Where do you dig, you know? So they gridded it off in 1 meter squares, sent the map out to Sacramento to our group. 2 of the dowsers took on the project. They wanted to know where the most important person in that graveyard was. So they simply took a ruler and moved the ruler along the map, took a dowsing device and asked it to tell them when they were right on. And when they got right on, it was right on, yes, they made a line. And they came the other direction, the same thing, made an X. Then they said, how deep is it? Is it more than 2 feet? Yes. More than 3 feet? Yes. More than 4? No. Backed off 3.5 feet. They marked it. It's 3.5 feet down to this guy's skull. So they sent that back to the archaeologists. Well, archaeologists, they're fast diggers. When they got a case like that, less than a week, we got a letter back on university stationery from the archaeology department thanking us for finding this guy. The skull was exactly where they said it was, and it had all the trappings of a super chief or a super shaman. That gives you some clue on the accuracy that you can achieve with this. And I've done many situations where in the field you prove it. So, what you want to know is how and why this works. You can do it. That's right. Some of you have already had experience with map dowsing.